Good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, October 1st, 2018. Happy Monday everyone. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Real quickly here, a programming note. Later on this afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Central, which is just after the market closes, I will be hosting the monthly market outlook for October. Please join me. It is the same link as usual. Join me /PivotBoss. We will jump on and talk markets, and not only will we be talking about the October market outlook, but we're also going to look for opportunities that we may be able to ride into the end of the year as well. So we're going to really put on a very good, thorough analysis of the markets here, including various stocks, and really get after it here heading into the end of the year. So please join me later on this afternoon, October 1st at 3:30 p.m. Central, and we will go over the PivotBoss monthly market outlook. Now here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. What you'll notice right here is price is currently pushing through the FOMC key level of September 26th. That's very important right now because at first price was holding just below it for a few days here, and now starting the month with early strength. Obviously we've been in an uptrending market, a little bit of a pullback phase here, and now it appears that price is ready for another price discovery phase up. Again, I've been poised for more upside trending behavior, been positioned long on these pullbacks for continuations higher. One thing to note here is a higher value relationship in the ES from 1 month to the next, and you'll notice that already price is taking the previous month's close bid. Now one thing to watch out for is the previous month's high and close here, very close or fairly close to each other. If there's any rejection at this high, we could see further back and fill into this trading range before we see the next push higher. So we may see continued strength, but if any signs of rejection occur at this area, we could see a back and fill. So again, watching this for further strength here today, unless a failure to hold above the 29.27 half occurs. That could be significant. Alright, taking a look here at the NQ. What you'll notice here in the NQ is what price is pushing to new highs above 7,700. Previous highs of the previous month here were at 76.97. Now price is pushing through those highs and continuing higher. Actually, that was the August highs. The September highs were 93.75. So pushing through both of those highs here. Again, this was exactly what we mentioned over the course of the last few weeks, was that while price had been pulling back and hadn't looked very bullish overall, and bears were defending, it appeared that we were very close to likely squeezing to the upside, very similar to what we've seen here before. So again, we could be looking at this phase up right now, this phase up, and it all starts with that 7,700 and previous highs. Those are 2-month highs right there, and if price can push soundly through those and hold through those today, we could see further strength. Now one thing that concerns me is the previous month's high and the previous month's close are very close to each other, and so if there's any major rejection of those to the downside, in most cases you see a test of the mid and then oftentimes all the way across to the opposite end of the range, at which point there's likely a trap and bounce opportunity. So those are a few things to keep in mind on, or keep an eye on rather, and keep in mind as we head into the first few days of the month of October. Alright, taking a look here now at crude oil. What you'll notice here, crude oil has been very bullish again. This hasn't been the cleanest, easiest uptrend. It's been very choppy, lots of pullbacks, lots of stalls. But on the days where it really decides to go, it's been very bullish. We had another one of those here. The 60-minute chart tipped us off very early on that initial rejection in crude right before it rallied significantly to end the day above the 73s. That was a pretty significant move. Again, look at the previous high and previous close of the month. Very close to each other, and right now price is below there. Again, if that area is offered, oftentimes you see price at least return back to the midpoint of the previous month's range. So that could be a pretty significant pullback towards 70 before perhaps we see another round of strength. Remember, we've been trending up in this kind of channel environment right here. We've currently cycled high. Do we cycle back before we go again? We'll see. That level right there, 73, will be the early indication. And again, anytime you reject those two key levels, you tend to return back toward the midpoint of the previous month's range. Okay, let's take a look now at gold. Gold is at a very important spot right now in the chart. This one, again, bulls had been defending the 1190 zone up to about 1195, trying to keep this thing bid for a shot at pushing higher. We had a very significant sell-off here, and that was on the FOMC key level day of 926. Price then subsequently bounces and now pulling back. So we are sitting here between the previous month's close and the previous month's low, and again right there in that zone. Back above this level would basically cause a failed expansion to the downside. If anyone that got short here, that would cause a short squeeze up. On the other hand, if this area continues to be offered and we start to push down through the zone, bears have it right now, and now everyone that defended here will likely lead to a long liquidation as they jump ship. That could lead to a significant decline. So staying below 1200 again suggests that we could see significant weakness ahead. If that level is broken, then there could be a squeeze right back to about 1215 to 1220. The downside break would be much more aggressive in this case. All right, let's take a look lastly at Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now, you can see, is currently holding at around 6560. It's holding above the 6K level. We've talked about 6K for a while now. You can see here, ever since the futures came online here, you can see that 6K has been the level. And anytime it's gotten below 6K, it's been a buy. You know, it hasn't stayed below there long. The problem is on the upper end of the range, lower and lower and lower and lower highs, and it's now to a point where things are very, very, very significant. It's either going to see a significant flush to the downside, which is normal and typical in a case where you have descending highs and a flat bottom. Most of the time it breaks to the downside. 4400, that's 44,000. 4400 and 2200, I believe, are the next two major downside levels. On a longer term basis, there's the 4400, and the next level is 2100. So those are the next two major downside levels. Now, I did mention that there is a shot that this thing could rally, and if it did, it would need to be significant. In order to break this type of trend where it has coiled right here, there is a shot that this thing could pop pretty significantly and return back toward about 9,000 to 10,000. And the reason I would think that there's a shot right now is because value has been shifted lower. And so value is chop, 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 chop in the zone. Lots of value in this area, which means it's been accumulated. And now if price goes bid, now you may start to see price discovery phase higher. So again, there is a significant a chance of a significant upside move if price can push again above 7,500. It needs to break beyond one of these prior pivot highs, and the day it does it is probably going to be a huge day. That over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks it reaches much higher. So that's what you're looking for if you are a Bitcoin bull. Otherwise, the overall shape suggests more downside, but now that VPOC has shifted, there is a shot here, but you got to see a push above that prior pivot high at 7,500. All right, that is it for now. Please join me later on this afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Central. Looking forward to seeing you in the trading room and in the monthly market outlook. Take care, happy Monday, and let's rock October.